FBI Director Christopher Wray has confirmed the existence of the FD 1023 form. That's the confidential informant form the FBI uses that then Vice President Biden engaged in a criminal bribery scheme with a foreign national. He had never before actually admitted that document actually existed. Okay, but he is still unwilling to give that document over to the House Oversight Committee. What he's now done is offered the chairman of that committee, Chairman Comer, an opportunity to review it in a SCIF, so in a secure room, and there are redactions that have been made. So right now, the committee is saying that does not justify what our subpoena requested, and they are still potentially moving forward, it looks like, with holding Christopher Wray in contempt as those negotiations with the FBI continue. I mean, I think you think about it this way, Logan. At first, they wouldn't even announce that the document existed.
Yep.
No one is alleging, by the way, that we know if the document is true or not. Really what Comer wants to know is if you got something like this, did you investigate it and find out if it was or wasn't true? That's all. So at first, they wouldn't even admit it existed. Then by saying we're gonna hold you in contempt, it does exist, and you can come see it now. First they said, no way we're ever going to show this to you. You'll never have access to this. Then they say, you can come see it, but you have to see it in a secured room, a SCIF. So the Congress has now got his back on the wall. And if you're held in contempt of Congress, you can actually be prosecuted. That's a crime that can be prosecuted by the Department of Justice. Would this DOJ do it? I don't think so with Merrick Garland. I don't think he's going to be prosecuting Christopher Wray for not letting them have a lot of documents about Joe Biden. At the same time, he did make this accommodation attempt, which is, okay, I'm not going to give you and your staff the document to review, but you can come over to the FBI in one of our secret rooms and you can review it here, but it's also going to be heavily redacted. These members of Congress have total oversight over the federal government. Like, it's kind of like I'd say it's kind of like a slap in the face to them, Logan, to say, you can come see it, but not all of it, because you're just a member of Congress.
That does always seem to be the case,
They're
right?
unelected.
Yeah, exactly. You're just someone who a president, just appointed,
right?
Made it through the process. But that is a ridiculous thing. That is where the branches of government, some of the oversight is very odd of what you can and what you can't get, what they can see and what they can't see. But then on the other hand, you have people who can see all these classified materials, can do all of these things, but they're not the elected officials. It's sort of a reformation that needs to happen.
Absolutely. And I think that here it's like, well, you're not supposed to be able to see this because this is an ongoing investigation. Well, first of all, this is Congress. They have total oversight role. And every time they go to court, they usually just expand their ability to get more information from the executive branch. So it's not really a good idea for the executive branch. You can fight back. There's certain things, certainly, that if they're ongoing. But remember, they wouldn't even admit that this was true. And no one knows if the actual information on the report is true. No one is alleging it's true. All the whistleblower said is, we got a document that said this. And all Congress really wants to know is, what did it say? Let us give a read, because we'll also, if we read it, it sounds ridiculous. Maybe it wasn't worth a major investigation. Maybe it was kind of bogus sounding. And it would admit that it would make sense that you guys didn't go further on it.
Yeah.
Or, wow, I can't believe I read this and you didn't even check a couple of these allegations out. Maybe made a couple phone calls, because I think what Congress is upset about here, Logan, is they can't. First, it took them this long to even get to admit that they had the form. I think really all they wanted to know was there an investigation done on these allegations? If not, why? Yeah. And so they said, okay, if you're not going to tell us that, let us look at it then, because at least that'll give us a clue into was it wild and salacious sounding that sounded like it couldn't be realistic? Okay, if not. But there's some reason they were protecting this, but slowly and surely, if you keep pushing, it's like our FOIA work. You keep pushing them and pushing them. Now you can see the document. Maybe in a couple days they'll have the document.